I posted it in the... Alright, so anyway, the issue I'm having with Protoss right now since the last time is, okay, now I roughly know what to do. 3 Observer for Terran, our die build or Gladevs for Zerg, and the Gateway for Protoss. The issue I have is kind of twofold. One is that when exactly should I attack? Because the build I see is almost me, just backing out to a late game, which works, getting the Protoss Death Ball, but I don't know when to focus like an attack. Is it when +2 is done, or should I do it earlier? Things like that.
Roughly then, but you don't always have to attack. One of the big tenets of PvZ nowadays is that while it's nice to put on a model pressure, it's not necessary. If you just send harassment, use your oracles or your warp prisms to just warp in ways of harass, that works just as well as just moving out your whole army and risking losing the whole thing.
So it's to go there, smack them and leave.
Kind of.
Okay, but that still puts me in a position of when do I attempt to actually end the game? Like, if I do this a few times, it feels that I'm kind of letting the Zerg, especially the damned Zerg, which is the replay we have here, get back into it.
Well, you're supposed to, after your 4th base, start transitioning into Skytoss already. Otherwise, you have a very real risk of running into a pure lurker army with your ground army, which is a fight that you will almost 100% lose.
Oh, how pathetic.
So you will have to transition into Skytoss after your 4th base, but by then you should be floating enough money and gas to just get the 3 Stargates plus your fleet beacon and start pumping out carriers, followed by your Void Rays.
Okay, so the actual advice in PvZ is if they don't just surrender by our die via the our die build, because that's happened a couple of times.
And if you don't want to do the Immortal push because that's very micro intensive, you can instead just macro into a late game. And Zerg at your level, at our level, they can't micro their spellcasters properly. They don't really know how to fight
Okay.
against a late game Protoss army properly. And you will win pretty often with that, as long as you can continue the macro uninterrupted, which is that's really the struggle of macroing against Zerg nowadays.
Okay, so the ZVs, okay, the PvZ strategy should be great to late game. Okay, so this is the latest game I played about an hour ago. On the ladder, which is, I think, pretty indicative of my PvZ problem.
So the first thing is that your when you go into a late game against Zerg, right? You need to make sure that you still have a healthy economy going. The Zerg's economy can be as healthy as it wants, but if considering that you're doing the Gladep opener, you should be trying to do some damage with that, and that should at least help to suppress their economy for the rest of the game by at least a little bit. Usually, what people like to do is to follow it up with the Immortal push because the Zerg still is trying to recover their economy and will likely have to prioritize army or economy one over the other. And if they go too far in either side, then they will die in one way to another to the Immortal push. But if you don't do that and you just macro, you should still have a macro advantage for a while, but you need to make sure that you're allowed to continue taking bases. You don't lose those bases, you set up static defense, you get your upgrade, you get your tech, and you get that army before they can tech into an actually good ground army.
So the idea is to be able to tech into the Sky Toss while Zerg is preferably still on Roach Hydra, or maybe even defend Mutas and then call it the Golden Armada.
Pretty much. The Aldai build I would say is not the best build to go into macro with. Considering that you have no Stargate tech, When you have the Twilight Council tech, you get your Robo as well.
Yeah.
It gets it assembles the proper mid-game army quite late, and because of that, it will be a bit harder to go into a proper macro game. Since you need Storm, you need Carriers, you need Oracles in the actual late game.
Other,
But you can still do it. You will just have to be a lot more proactive in actually taking the game in this direction.
by the way, where in PvZ, where does the second pylon go?
In your main base. You could try to put it around like your mineral line so that you can put the Stargate tech or whatever tech that you choose a little further back so the Overlord has to like commit a little further to scout. If you go Stalker first, then that will really let you snipe the Overlords or stuff, but that's an immortal push only thing. Because I don't really play the Gladept openers, I generally prefer Stargate openers, and so I don't really care too much about that. But it's still nice to just push the Overlord a little further back so that your Phoenix has an easier time sniping it off.
I
Things like that.
see. On this map, why not put it in this top corner then, since that's the furthest point from an overlord in any direction?
Like, sure, you could, but then you also have to ask whether it's worth it putting the pylon that far away so that all your future buildings don't have to go there. Whether or not you need the warp-in pylon, the main base, in case like links get in or something. Well, mutas really.
Okay. Yes.
Are you scouting? Okay, yes, you're scouting.
This adept is doing okay.
Oh, that's nice. You got one drone, and then you shade into the main base.
Yeah, I was
Well,
kind of.
it's nice that you got to shade into the base here, but usually the Zergs should be clicking links onto the adepts and the shade, so you normally wouldn't be able to do this, but this is a very nice start. You just need to make sure that you don't lose the adept on the way home. Usually you want to shade the adept all the way back through your wall, or shade it to the third into a pocket. Where the links will have a harder time, because by now link speed should have finished like in about 10 seconds from now. The opponent's not actually going for link speed, and they actually went for
No, they have link. They have speed.
Oh, they have speed, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
if
just
link
did.
speed finishes, then you lose the depth. It's just that their links are across the map, so you didn't have to deal with that yet. But usually they will keep their links home, and you need to run the adept away after like usually 2 or 3 shades and just go home with it.
Okay, so I don't even bother leaving the adept out on the map.
Absolutely not. You will lose the adept in most cases. It's just that I don't know what your opponent is doing here. They're really making it vulnerable for themselves.
Yeah, so okay, so the other problem I will have later as Protoss is how on earth do I have map vision, because all the Protoss defenses are concentrated around shield batteries. Like, I have absolutely no effing clue
Well,
where anything
that's
is.
like that's the problem of the Gladept opener. It's arguably the opener that gets granted the least map vision. All you get is Sentry Hallucination, really. And you might even want to just save that energy for like
Yeah,
Force Field and Guardian Shield. The
because
Stargate opener grants you as much map vision as you need because of oracles, and the Robo opener lets you build observers, which is also kind of nice. But if you don't have that, then what you will need to do is you need to send out probes to build pylons around the map, or send out individual zealots to
yeah,
certain key locations so that you know where the Zerg army is. Other than that, you don't have a real way of like getting map vision.
Warpin's quite precious.
Is
But
this a
it's
map-specific strategy or PvC strategy? The Gladept build in general is just a general PvC strategy nowadays. It's the modern version of PvC.
yeah, it looks like it's changing quite a bit, but as of right now, it's still pretty darn good.
See, the
So
problem now is that your opponent is already teching up and made a lot of roaches in response to this attack. So you just need to run away. Shading into the base here, I guess you can do that. Yeah, why not pick up the queen? And then micro to the worker line, like killing some drones. Then you need to shade out as soon as you can. Not in. You can't shade in like this. Maybe you can actually. There's not much defenses. Yeah, he didn't split his army at all, so he's scrambling to defend this. But
Yeah.
behind this, your macro is well, it's there. But
As
you
a,
need to you need to be a little more careful with the adepts. Okay, good. You're splitting off adepts. Well, you're losing them, but it's fine. The adepts find even more damage in the natural. So at this point, you're in a very good spot. As long as you stop microing the adepts, you send them home, the rest of them home, and then you just focus on the defense. But you need to
so,
warp. You will need to warp in stalkers here. You know that they've made a lot of roaches.
hey, stalkers.
Shield batteries themselves don't save you from that many roaches. Is the thing. You need to make stalkers. You need to make. You need to warp in a lot. You need to make sure you're continuously making your models. The gas bank here is actually quite a big problem.
Yeah, this is where the Templar archives come down. Because they're like, okay, our cards are good. Although they take a while to
Yeah,
come
but
online. What do I make with this much gas though? There's nothing. What?
centuries,
So,
centuries. The force fields are incredible.
I need to figure out how to use the force fields more effectively.
It's really not hard. There's three main ways to use force fields. One is to just prevent their army from jumping on yours. This is the case of like Ling Bane, where you just force field in front of your army. The second is to split their army in half so they can pick off half of it, which you want to do with Road Ravager. And the last one is to prevent them from escaping, where you put the forces behind their whole army. Your force usage here isn't that bad, you know. You did force a few roaches to be picked off there, so that's nice. But
Yeah.
you need to warp in a unit and hold position on the high ground at least. Okay, there you go. You got that model there, and yeah, the Zerg's just gonna be able to attack with this roach army. So you defended this quite well.
Yeah, I kind of figured that, okay, all I need to do is wait.
Where's
I've
your
got.
forge?
I think that I got that quite late.
You need to get upgrades.
When does Forge come down? When third is up and running?
when you decide you want to macro. So
So a lot earlier than
like
this.
usually it would be like I don't like know the exact details of this build, but I would assume like around the time where you got your Templar archives. You also need to start Storm. I know you I know you wanted to do more depth harassment here, but there really wasn't any need to. The Zerg was already on a very heavy economic back foot. And while they F2'd home to deal with one that the spine dealt with anyway.
Yeah, I kind of felt
Yeah,
that if the enemies.
you just need to get your macro together here. So, no, don't double forge, not in PvC.
Yeah, I kind of forgot the Forges, so I was like, oh, okay, let's get them upgrades since we're going to macro game, but. Single
No,
Forge.
single forge, and you want to get that around like the moment you decide you're going to a macro game, not like this late, because this late you're still going to be quite behind in upgrades. Granted, the Zerg's on like no eco, so they can't really get that many upgrades. But look, they have +2 missiles already,
Yeah.
and now they're getting the lurker. Then this is a problem because your macro with this build is also quite late. You missed a lot of pro production consistently, which you just need to get used to the macro cycle. And by now you should have taken your force base and you need to start taking into Stargates and then make the fleet beacon. Because they're going to lurkers by now, and
Yeah, I
this is
see.
when the carriers would actually start being strong. I know you're not maxed out, you're not even close to maxed out, but Zealot, Charge Lot Warpins, Archon Warpins spend the money, and you need to continue expanding it. And with all of the spare minerals that you might have, you can make cannon battery defenses at all of your outlet bases. Usually I would make like 3 to 4 cannons and 2 batteries a base. It sounds like a lot, but it really buys you a lot of time, man. You're not gonna be able to spend that money on spending the money on just more charge lots is charge lots have a limited use. Like I don't actually agree with expanding here, it's too far forward. You would want to expand onto the high ground on the top left or the high ground on the right below your main base. This is just about the worst position to expand.
Yes, I kind of expanded here simply because, well, this was the closest base to the army, not necessarily because I had a plan.
No, you need to consider where you expand actually matters. Because how far your army is away and what position it gives the enemy army. In this case, if they try to attack into that very exposed base, they can just retreat, pull onto the high ground, and immediately go into the third. And while your army has to walk like around the outer edge of it, which you can get outmaneuvered by the Zerg that way. Whereas if you just expanded onto the high ground on the right side, then your army can be positioned much more centrally and respond to threats that way. Of course, this is also the point where you would also want to start getting some map vision. So you don't have stalkers here. Do you have charge?
Yeah, I
Yes.
got charge.
You should be wobbling in charge slots. They're just good units. And with the charge slots, you want to just send out, click on one charge slot, move it out of the main control group, and then just send it out to various choke points on the map. And now that you know that there's lurkers, you really should not be attacking into lurkers. The lurkers become a huge problem if they're attacking into you. But if you're attacking into lurkers, you can just pull away and not engage. And they'll be forced to use it defensively. And like right here, he's gonna use the lurkers to try to pounce on your army, and you have no detection on this army, so you need to pull back.
Where was that observer? I remember like the observer. It's at home. Never mind.
Observers are also not reliable against lurkers because oftentimes the hybridists will accidentally snipe the observers. I would much rather that you went into Stargate Tech like 3 minutes ago, and you can start producing oracles to tag the lurkers with. Revelation got nerfed such that it gives even less time on the tag, but that time is still necessary. You still need to use Revelation to tag lurkers, and that really is how you want to get detection against them.
I mean, if I done things properly, I would be on what?
You would
4
be
carriers
on
now?
Yeah, by now. And look, now your army is very far out of position. You're gonna lose this base, like almost guaranteed. You're trying to fight into lurkers now, and there's too many lurkers to fight into, so you're gonna lose this base, and that's just bad base positioning. If you expanded somewhere else, you would probably not have lost this base this fast. And again, you're floating like 2k each resource.
Yeah, so I was kind of thinking like, wait, so what do I do with all this here money now?
Absolutely just go into Skytoss Tech, because you can't win this fight. I mean, you're so far behind in upgrades, and you're fighting into, well, normally I would say the Protoss army is higher tech, the Zerg army is higher tech than yours here. The lurkers themselves just out-tech almost everything in this army. Well, everything in this army now. So you really needed Stargate Tech 4 minutes ago, at like 10-minute mark when you're taking your force base. Get 3 Stargates. And then once the Stargate's finished, get a fleet beacon, start producing oracles. Well, just one oracle can do really, as long as you control it. And then the rest, you just focus on carrier production. At this point, you also don't really need immortals anymore of the robo facility, so you can start getting observers or prisms instead.
Would Colossi have been any? Would the
Absolutely not. No.
Would Colossi disruptor?
No. Those can be theoretical counters to lurkers, but we do not have the control to really make it.
Yeah,
so.
that's fair.
Yeah, and well, the sky obviously lurkers can't shoot up, so sky toss is a much better counter than trying to use a ground army. So yeah, this is just a case of you not teching into the right tech for late game. It's easy to fall into the trap of sticking onto a low-tech army because it's just nice and cheap. It's fast to remax because you already have the production necessary, and it is more mobile in that you get to pick up bases like this. You really don't have to do stuff like this. If you're going to attack, you usually want to send the attack in a 2-prong way. You send your main army somewhere and then you warp in a reinforcement somewhere else, so that the army has to, so that the Zerg is almost forced to make like a decision on what they want to do. And I mean, yeah, you did that right this time. The Prism warped in a little late, but that's still fine. Now you can threaten this side again. But the problem is that you still don't have any real counters to the lurkers. Like, and you, by all metrics, you should have. This army is very squishy. You're not really warping in either. And
I remember always being out of warp. It's partially because I was warping a lot of
You only have 10 gates here. That's not enough. By floating this much, you should also know it's not enough, and just add on as much gateways as you can. And at this point, the Zerg, even though they had a really bad start, because your macro just wasn't there at all, they've gained the lead again. And like, yeah, there's really not much to it here. You just did macro.
So it's just okay. Is there any scenario that you don't go into Stargate Tech?
No.
So it's always outdie, and if you choose to macro instead of doing the immortal all in, it's to get 4 bases and start
I say
it
all
up.
in, but it's just pressure, and you don't want to lose that army because you need it for mid-game defense. And if you're not going to be able to close out the game there, immediately go into a force base. First off, tech up into the tech that you need, the forge, Templar Archives, and then when you're taking the fourth base, immediately get cannon battery defenses at the third and fourth, get 3 Stargates, so that you can prepare for the Skytoss transition. Otherwise, you're just... I mean, the problem here is that you haven't even realized that you're not high-tech enough. Like, your production capabilities are still not there. You're making 2 more gateways, but... sorry, you're making 2 more robos, but that's not the right counter against the lurker count.
Yeah. I was thinking like, okay, more immortals might be helpful, but no.
No, lurkers are just very good units, and while the models technically they do bonus damage to them, if you can't just... The thing about Protoss ground armies is that if the Zerg has like 6 or more lurkers, you simply cannot fight into it. If you're forced to fight into it by like them being on your doorstep, you're going to need to do a surround on the Zerg army. But it's just easier to just go into Skytoss and avoid this scenario altogether. And again, your gateway count is just not there. You're already on 5 bases now, and you still only have what, 10 gateways. You should be...
Yeah, how many do I
at
need?
least 4 gateways a base. So by now, like 20
Oh.
gates.
Oh, 4 gateways per base. Okay, that's easy to know. And now the
This is a nice
Stargates.
attempt, but I mean that itself should have given you map vision, so you should have reacted to this. But your army's too far away, and you also didn't have any cannons in this defense for some reason.
I forgot about them.
And the cannons themselves can just buy you more time, and Hydras are very hard to fight into cannons with. They will take a lot of losses, and I mean, here you also guaranteed lose this base. Your army just isn't there, so it'd be a miracle for you to win this game. Which you resoundingly are losing right now.
Yeah, and currently after I lost this, I realized...
the immortal count... Yeah, no, immortal just don't do it.
Alright, so the simple answer is to just sky toss your way earlier.
Yeah. We like to say Skytoss is the endgame army in Aldai, but that's because people in Aldai don't really know how to...
Nobody in Aldai has built carriers.
Like, literally only Miss Fanta has displayed how to play Skytoss properly. And even then, that was a scrappy game because...
Fanta played carriers?
Yeah. In the finals that he won.
He's won a few finals.
He absolutely went into Skytoss. And that was, I would say, like a textbook example of how you want to play Skytoss. It's just that carriers just counter everything that the Zerg game have. So you just want to go into that carrier storm, and then you supplement that if they go corruptors, you supplement that with void rays.
And the gamble, is that at least here they will not use the Viper Infestor well enough to counter it.
They will not use the Viper Infestor well enough.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so that's...
back during the Brulon Infestor day, they still didn't know how to use Viper Infestor properly against Skytoss,
that's
so
because
you shouldn't have any concerns here.
Oh, so that's why you ask if this match specific or PvZ specific. Yeah, Quiz first asked.
Yeah.
Thanks for answering.
I was just reading chat. So that's PvZ, so you have the general gist of how the early game goes, but your macro just fell off really hard afterwards. You need to constantly be making probes out of the next side. Again, you need to check them faster, check the control groups faster, check your warpins faster.
Yeah.
And then just make the right decisions on what tech to go into afterwards.
Okay. I'll try that next game. If I have a lot of money, build a bunch of gateways, cannons, and batteries.
Yeah. 4 gates per base. You can use the gates to wall off the mineral lines of the outer bases as well, to help ward against baiting run-bys.
Oh yes, that's the thing that Vata did very well until it backfired that one game, but still effective.
I mean, you will want to plug the wall with a unit as well, so...
Okay, I think I kind of get the PV. So then the build will be the Aldai build into getting some immortals to just not die. Do we bother with Archons then?
You should, because you're filling that much gas anyway.
Okay, so it's to do the Aldai build, then get into Immortal
Archon. You should
Archon.
be trying to go into Charter Immortal Archon, but of course the Aldai's build willingness is muted, so you have to go into Blink first. But after that, go into charge, and you have a standard mid-game army. And then along with that, if you want to attack across the map, you want to take a fourth base, attack into higher tech, try not to lose the whole army or use it for defense effectively, and then just go into sky toss. When
Okay.
in the sky toss army, the immortals become significantly less useful, so you can use the immortals for like run-bys. No, it sounds dumb, but you could do that.
I've seen the GSL folk do that before.
Yep.
Okay. And then for map vision is to send out zealots. But doesn't that imply that Protoss, what do you call it? Protoss early and even mid game has a very limited scouting for both a gateway and
Yes.
twilight opening.
Yes, that's the weakness of the opening, really. Unless you go sentry first, which is a very clear indicator of an immortal push, you would not really have much scouting information
Wait,
at all.
but you go sentry first means you don't have an adept.
Well, if you go sentry first, then you are going to be safe against link busts and stuff, but you would be a little more vulnerable to potential lair shenanigans, though you can still scout the lair with hallucinated phoenixes in the
Okay.
back.
And depending on what build, okay, there's some builds that you just get a bunch of sentries, immortals, and you attempt to win the game.
Yeah, I did that a while ago. Actually, no, I did it yesterday. There was a Zerg that 12 pulled me without gas, so I did a standard expand defense with 2 zealots. And after that, because they're in like a poorer economic position, I just did the one immortal push with zealots.
Is this the Marjorie?
No, it didn't have charge.
Oh, so it's a warp prism and immortal, a bunch of sentries and warp in.
Slow zealots, yeah.
Okay. But given that it was a super early 12 pull, it meant they had no econ for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
That's why you can really do that effectively. Alright, PvP, you say that you died to a proxy robo, yes?
No, I died to other bullshittery, but the problem was more towards not just how do you defend this particular bullshit, but assuming you defend it, what do you do, and also how do you, assuming you're being sieged, what next?
I mean, okay.
This was a completely different kind of bullshittery.
If you're breaking,
Which
if
you
you're
can
trying
see
to
right
break
now.
a siege, oftentimes it means that they're all in on the siege. And if they're all in on the siege, then you.
They were not.
I mean, if they've sieged you for that long that they've macroed out of it, you already lost the game. Oftentimes the easiest way is to just stop it from happening in the first place. So that's just more map awareness, more scouting, better scouting. But oh, it's just 4 zealots. Ayo. You know that this is one of the easiest builds to counter, right?
And the textbook counter to this is full
One
wall.
sentry.
Oh.
No, full wall first, then 1 sentry. Then you get adepts.
Huh.
You get shield batteries to heal the wall up as the zealots start attacking them. And then from there, you can, because they proxy all the gateways out on the map, you can go just kill them with a 3-gate robo, probably.
Okay, so if I go to Protoss base and I scout this, is this zealot bullshittery the only thing that it could be?
No, they could have just proxied
One
other
gate.
tech on the map, but you know for sure that there are gateways on the map, right? Or it could be also a cannon rush. It's just that in this case you will need to try to scout around the map a little more. But you need to get your cyber core on time and. Well, if it's a cannon rush, you would have started by now, and if you had the probe patrolling the Logon, you would have seen it. So you can rule out the cannon rush. So in this case, it's most likely just proxy gates.
Yes.
And again, in the case of proxy gates, you want to get shield batteries ASAP. And now you see the zealots. You lost the game. Well, I mean, this wall is too late. You did get it up in time, but now you need not zealots.
That was the only thing makeable at that
The
particular
cyber-
instance.
Okay, then make you need to make a sentry out.
I didn't know about the sentry. I picked the stalker because like, oh, this is the most HP, and then I ran out of money.
No, stalkers do very little damage to zealots, and so yeah, you just lost the game already. You needed to chrono out. You need to make a re-wall, or just wall of a better building than a pylon, and then you need to get adepts and sentries out of the gateways. You should have started the shield batteries almost immediately after the cyber cores are finished, so that you can heal up the wall as quickly as you can. And then past that, they're so all in on this just zealot stuff that you should be able to just run them over. But in this case, because the defense fell apart, then you just die to it. Well, I would say that if you can clean up these zealots here, and you did the right response, you should still be okay, because now, I mean, your opponent still has not decided to make... your opponent made the cyber core. I don't know why they're just spamming zealots. They should be making, like, stalkers by now. And there you go. But yeah, 1 sentry. Chrono on 1 sentry, and it will pop up with enough energy for a force field. And that will just buy you a ton of time.
Okay. So, my thought now was, okay, well, that sucks, but they should have very limited tech. I will get a robo and walk across the map and try to win.
The thing is, your economy is so bad now that you probably won't be able to do that unless your opponent really screws it up. And okay, nice, you got the gas steal off, so that really hampers their options.
Yeah. Since I saw like, oh, it's 1 gas, I'm clearly being cheesed, I'll take what I can.
Your opponent's being scared of the 2 stalkers when they really shouldn't be.
What, they can bust the ramp?
They can just bust down the shield battery.
And at this point I see he's actually
if you wanted to go attack, yeah, there you go.
I mean, Buddy, unfortunately...
But your opponent is also getting a robo, so... just evens out, and now you're just being sieged. And the moment they realize, wait, I can just make batteries on their natural, you pretty much lose the game. So... this is just your initial response not being quite right. Like, you got the wall off, sure, but behind the wall off, you need to make sure, and this is also the case against Link Bus, especially against like the Aodai build, that you need to know how to position more buildings, and it'll be very expensive, but you need to do it such that you can re-wall if the weak part of the wall goes down. Oh, you have a sentry here.
I figured force field would be good.
Yeah, the force field would be amazing. You can use a single force field to just block the whole ramp. And then they literally can't do anything. But behind this, your economy is still way behind, and they already have their models out, and yeah. But you should lose this. You should lose this. Okay, good force field. Very good force field, but if they... Oh, their sentry has no energy yet. The sentry can hallucinate the Phoenix now, and then they just have high ground vision.
They're waiting for an observer, I believe. Yeah, the observer's en route.
Yep, there we go. That also works, and then now you just die. You have 2 shield batteries here. One of them's reachable by the battery overcharge, but your gateways are being picked off. Oh, that's a good catch for them. Yeah, you pretty much already lost the game at this point. Oh, well.
So it's kind of like the early defense just not being there that put me so far behind that nothing else really mattered.
Yeah. I mean, that's the case with like 12 pools or like 12 pools, proxy Raxus, or in this case the Zealot cheese. Or, well, more commonly you will see like 4-gate or proxy robo and things like that. If your initial defense is just not there, then even if you have the best macro afterwards, your economy is just so much worse because you lost so many workers doing the defense that you're just gonna lose the game. And while they are throwing away a lot of... you need to start going down the ramp. You need to stop going down the ramp, really. But, yeah, they are throwing away a lot of units to try to siege you down, but you also don't have that much.
Yeah, there's nothing else really on the map
What
for
happened to
recomp.
your gas mining? It's 2 and 2. That's a
If
big problem.
if I remember correctly, it's because after I lost like the initial defense, I looked at okay, I've got a good amount of gas. I shifted them to minerals.
Yeah, but you need to reprobe and re-get those gases because one base saturation with gases is like enough for 4 gateways or 3 gateways in a robo just nicely. Without that much gas, then you're going to be making slow zealots, which don't help you that much.
Okay. Oh, I thought I got a stalker next time.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. There are a few others, right? Okay. Okay, so those are the freshest games in my mind. There were a few I played mid-week, and I need to go and find them, as well as the replays I sent.
Well, if you want, I can just play off race against you so that you can practice those specific improvements as well.
Hold on. I remember there was a PV. No, that's not the right. No, that's my Terran. Okay, so this is another PVZ that I got cheesed.
What? Huh? You left the lobby.
Just enter. Ah, that bug. Wait, no, this is a. No, this is. It loaded a different replay. Okay, never mind. Let's take a look at. I'm very sure I have PvP, PvP, PV. Don't know what this is. Give me a sec to find the PVT simply because my system has an ungodly number of replays. Oh, here's one. This is the most recent PVT I could find.
Alright.
I know, when I play Protoss, I tend to hit a lot of other Protosses and Zergs on the ladder. Less so Terrans for some reason.
I mean, Zerg is the most populous race, right? And then Terran, people like to play Terran a lot. And you will mostly see Terrans getting stuck in like... Well, I wouldn't say stuck, but the Terran population is also there. Protoss population is really quite low as well.
It's kind of funny because when I play Terran, I tend to hit a good amount of everybody else, but when I was playing Protoss, I'm barely hitting Terrans. Also, the occasional random player.
I still get those.
Yeah,
And I always just 3-gate robo them. Every single time.
Yeah, because as we've discussed, there's not really much you can do, and there's no meta for that at the tournament level.
Nope. Okay, so macro PVT? That looks like it. Yeah, you're gonna do the 2 building wall on the cliff and then
Yeah, this map is really easy enough to do it, so I figured no reason not to.
Yep.
I mean, there's some weirder maps like Deathora that I'm like, I can't really remember what's where, but this map is like there's a line here. You can't go wrong with that.
Okay, so your scout here, you see the racks and then you see 1 gas in main.
Yeah, which looks kind of...
That's macro, yeah, that's perfectly normal.
I remember this game like the moment like the House Your Day comes out, I'm like, I gotta scout everything.
Ah, you're mining too much gas.
Yeah, I still have the habit of once a gas finishes the terror trick where you just pull probes and dump them in there and forget.
The thing is that you want the Nexus in time, you want your Cybercore in time, And you're doing call first here, but now your Nexus is gonna be very late. Because you were mining so much gas that your minerals just aren't there. Usually, one of my biggest problems that I realized after Turkey Nano told me was that I put too much focus on mining gas first. Your gases can finish, but you don't have to fill them up immediately. You should always try to saturate minerals before gas in like most builds. The one exception I would say is like unless you're playing a very gas-intensive build like a Tempest Cheese or
Stargate?
the PvP opener with 3 centuries where you need the 300 gas quite fast. You don't need to mine that much gas. Even Stargate openers don't need to mine that much gas.
I honestly.
You always get minerals first.
Oh, I remember what happened in this game.
Proxy the Stargate?
This was me playing unranked.
Okay. I see you decided to go for Adept, but I don't really recommend using an Adept. I know it's call first and you want to put on pressure, but the Adept is just naturally harder to micro against the Reaper with, and while they did lose the Reaper, you then need to immediately send the Adept across the map for it to do something, and well, it's just too late. It's just way too late in this case.
Yeah, I kind of figured. I personally think the reason I keep going Adept first is simply because the Adept is the better Protoss Reaper, which can get more done via the shade and all that. Because as Terran, you always want to try and put pressure no matter who you're facing.
Yeah, but like the Adept itself is also very limited because well, you can put pressure across the map. This is too late to do that. Your opponent, if they scout a call first, they should be putting a bunker in front. If they have that, then you can't do anything. They should also have enough units that, they should be making enough units such that even if you send like these 2 gateway units out, they're not gonna do anything. And more likely than not, they're probably going to die. I don't know why he's retreating this fast though. Hello? What?
It's because the Oracle.
Oh, right, the proxy Stargate. Well, this is a good opener. Losing the... you can't lose this though.
Yeah, so... Even though this is...
No, stop shooting. Stop trying to shoot it. Just run away. Oh my god.
Well, I know that Stalkers are supposed to be able to out-micro Marines. No, I don't know.
Blink micro.
No, but like even when running away, they
I know
outrage.
you're supposed to be able to kite them, but like your angle is just too bad for that to happen.
And I'm aware that I don't actually know how that works.
Yeah. Well, if you see a unit that's really low on health, you should just run away with it, not try to micro with it, because then you're just gonna lose it.
Yeah.
And also, he doesn't seem to react to the proxy Stargate at all.
I don't think he realizes that it's a proxy Stargate.
Yeah. So if you just dive in here with 2 oracles again, you should be able to kill like 1,000,000 SCVs.
Here they come, and the Adepts...
That's exactly what you did. The Adept distracted him again. But he's actually going to just drop you, so while you're doing all this damage at his base, and actually this should have ended the game for him, you need to defend this first. And what do you have in defense? You have 2 shield batteries at a natural, and nothing in the main. Your gateway count is only just starting to grow.
Yeah, if I remember this correctly, and again, this was like the earliest, or rather the newest PVT I could find. I think I attempted, because this was unranked, to just do the Roddy build and just see what happened.
Don't. It's hard to control. And you really need to just defend the stuff at home.
So how does...
Okay, you're warping in stuff just in the nick of time with battery overcharge. You should be able to hold this very easily. Hello? React? What are you looking at?
What was I looking at? Oh, the oracles went back in.
You shouldn't be microing this. Well, you did battery overcharge, so that already fixes everything. Yeah, whatever, that's fine.
Yeah, the oracles dived into the natural.
At this point, do you even really need more damage? You know that he's already crippled economically. You just need to macro out of this. And I don't know, going Mass Phoenix is just not the way when your opponent is already being killed by a proxy Stargate. They're just going to defend it, and then they're going to defend it harder. Like if you throw this game, And then it would definitely be because you didn't macro all of it properly. Like the standard macro response, get the Twilight Council, get the Robo, get the Forge, and then expand.
Yeah, I spent too much time microing against this drop. Thankfully, so did he, and he's on a lower worker count.
Where's your Phoenix?
It's coming back.
You should just kill the medevac.
Oh, the Phoenix missed it.
You needed to just snipe the medevac. Oh dear. Well, you lost the 2 stalkers for nothing.
I honestly thought that the Phoenix had got to them, and I had no idea that
No,
skirmish.
if you're going to micro against this, always try to snipe the drop ship first and most importantly. And then you can try to do kiting micro, but you don't seem to know how to arc, so it'd be hard to play the stalker style effectively. And I don't think your Phoenix micro is there really, especially not against Stim Bio.
No, it's
Stim Bio absolutely melts Phoenixes.
Is there any point you feel watching this game, given that this was effectively?
No, not really. I mean, you already lost the game at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel that I played a PvT that was a bit more standard using the 3 observer build. There was one well, the one I definitely remember is 2 weeks ago though. If not, we could do the PvT and we'll see what happens.
Alright.
Let me see if I can actually find the PvP again. No, my turn. Oh, okay, this is a much more recent one. But it seems there's anything else. E-reserve, no, okay, I found it. This should be a more standard PvT.
Alright. Bug.
So, is the solution to, again, when you play against Protoss and or Terran, if you're floating money, just build cannon battery?
No, well, against Terran, no. Against Zerg, it's very effective to build cannon battery. Against Terran, it's significantly less so just because of the raw DPS of Bio. Or, well,
Mech.
siege tanks.
Basically Bio and Mech, which is basically all of Terran.
Yeah, so it's a lot less effective. You're better off just making batteries and like maybe 1 cannon in each base just for defense. But other than that,
and against Toss,
you would be prioritizing map control. Against Toss, if they open Stargate, 1 battery in each mineral line first. And then if you suspect they're going DTs, you can make 1 cannon in each mineral line. But other than that, you shouldn't be putting too much into defensive costs. Considering that it's a mirror matchup and you really want to ideally you'd like to get as many units out, as many upgrades out as fast as possible.
No, actually what I meant question was that if I'm getting into, let's say, a mid game, we're already on 2 bases, looking at 3, even in PvP, and I'm floating money because macro sucks. What should I get?
Gateways.
So it's more gateway, it's not so much cannon battery for Protoss.
No, not really.
Okay.
Cannon battery is something you do when you have the stable income to sustain it. Not so much for more normal game. So your probe scout now, and it's going to see Rex, but it's not going to see any gases.
Yeah.
That is a problem because then you should know that this isn't the only thing that they're making by far. Like I honestly don't agree. I would personally not do any SCV harass at all. Prefer to just jump into the base and then just see what they have. And you can see the gases, that's nice.
Yeah, because it completely
need to react to what's happening. And what's happening is they are. Oh god, you're making your cyber core too late. Yeah.
I don't. Did I expand? I don't think so.
You should not be expanding. Okay.
Okay,
There is one thing that you can do, which is as Protoss, you just try to match the Terran space count, right?
yeah.
In the early game, just match it. If they're not expanding, don't expand on your own.
Yeah. Okay, so I
Just
suppose.
stay on one base. You can get like you can get a bunch of shield batteries onto the Cybercore finishers. You can get a Zealot out, and then you can get a bunch more pylons so you don't get supply blocked. 22 pylon, please. Yep, get shield batteries. You have the money for it, and you know that they're cheesing you, like guaranteed.
Yeah,
No
the probe.
one-
The probe saw it.
But you didn't make shield batteries.
Oh, I
Why?
made one and then it immediately died.
I mean, you should have made it like way earlier. Like almost immediately after the Cybercore finishes, because the shield battery is just a very good... I mean, you died. Yeah, this is just dying. Because you didn't have the shield battery up in time. If you made the shield battery immediately after the Cybercore finish, which by the way was late,
Yeah.
then you probably hold this with no problems. But now you're forced to pull probes and you're just gonna lose all of them.
Thankfully, the micro on their side is not great either.
Yeah, but they have all the agency to do this. And if they really need gas, they can just... you just don't have a shield battery and your stalker kiting isn't good, so... Now you just don't have money to do anything. If you had the shield battery up, then you win this game already. Like, I can't stress enough how good the shield battery is as a defensive tool. You should always make it if you suspect anything. Like, every single time. When we didn't have this option, we were praying that pylon overcharge would take care of everything.
Cause that was literally.
But even back when the shield battery didn't have battery overcharge, we were still making shield batteries because they're just good for defense. Even if they ran out pretty fast, they still give you that initial sustain, give you that initial, like, let you keep your initial few units against their aggression, such that you can maybe try to snowball the unit count out of their control.
By the way, was getting stalkers the idea against this?
Yes. Against Marines, you always want stalkers. They're just the most microable, even if your micro isn't that good. But the key against the cheese like this is to get a ball of units that can beat what they have consistently, and then just keep growing that ball. Because you keep losing units here, you don't have that ball at all, and then you just run out of money to do anything.
Thankfully, the gas still meant that they've got no tanks. Because if they had the gas and they had tanks, I would have died in about a minute when the tanks pop.
Yeah, but like, you're still pretty dead now. Now that the shield battery's up, you should just go and run forward and battery overcharge it. There we go. Good. And now you just hold this. They shouldn't be attacking into this if they know anything about StarCraft, really.
Yeah, so that's a
Now that you have the double gas steel and they're floating like 600 minerals, what they should really be doing is they should just float their CC down to the low ground and just take the gases there. Mine there instead.
They've never even bothered to get an orbital.
That means that they only know how to do this cheese, and the fact that you almost died to it is pretty embarrassing, actually. Well, you can still die to it. After all, battery overcharge is very much on cooldown, and at least you're making a second shield battery, yeah, that's the right idea. But you need to consistently make more stalkers, and with that gas you can make sentries to block the ramp with.
Oh yeah, sentries exist.
I know sentries are like the very expensive unit that you probably don't know how to micro properly, and so you don't make them. But until you don't, and the moment you make them and you are trying to use them a bit, you realize just how good they are, how effective they can be in a lot of situations. Like the moment I realized that I have to use sentries for PvP hallucination scouting. My sentry usage just skyrocketed from there, and it's just like I can't imagine not sentry microing now.
Okay, there'll probably be a separate question on how many sentries I need for different situations, but
it's always I mean that part's reactive.
Okay.
Dependent on your build. Some builds, like immortal push builds, will just naturally get a lot of sentries. But I mean, yeah, now that you know that they've been forced back, you can safely expand. You should, in fact, just expand now. And even though you have a lot of stalkers, if you push across the map, you win. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I've done
It's.
this
I mean, you
cheese.
you knew that they weren't mining gas the whole time, or at least you guessed that they weren't mining gas the whole time because by all rights they should have expanded a long ass time ago, but they were so bad with the
Yeah,
cheese that they only knew how to do this. And okay, good. Your pullback micro is good here, but you should really be doing kiting micro, not just pullback. Oh, it doesn't matter. You won the game.
yeah. This is why the gas steal happens and then this
Wow,
happens.
no GG, SMH.
Okay, so shield batteries early and make sure the cybercar is on time.
Yep, just get
Okay,
a fast shield battery against almost every cheese, and you'll be fine.
okay. Unfortunately, that was kind of the only PVZ. The only other PVT I have is like 2 weeks ago.
It's okay.
So
We can play a PVT.
okay, then I'll let you load the thing.
Alright.
So I do need to ask. So in the three observer variant, no, the three observer robo thingy into Colossus. When do I attack?
You would either want to try to hit the timing of your upgrades, your attack upgrades, or you will want to get 3 to 4 Colossi out before your attack.
Okay. Do I bother with Storm then?
No, not really. The Colossi themselves cover for the splash damage. You get Storm after if they counter the Colossi, like with Vikings and stuff. But
Alright.
then that gets countered by EMP, so... Okay, the thing about dodging EMPs as Protoss is, even though EMP is gigantic, a lot of the Terrans at our level don't really know how to
I'm one of them.
EMP properly, so what you can do is you can just, before you engage a move of the army, you spread your High Templar around your army, instead of just having them all in one ball behind your
Ooh,
army.
okay.
And then that way you can almost guarantee that you can get Storm Sword, and that just makes your trades that much more efficient.
Well, I'll try. Let me go toilet right before we start. I'll be right back.
Alright. What PvP build should I choose? I mean, my Terran sucks, so I'm gonna probably die to him, but we'll have a look. Hello, Butte. No, I'm not actually that good. I'm just Diamond 1 with Zerg. Diamond 2 with Protoss, but what Gunner's going through is something that I went through myself not that long ago, so I don't know what to help him with.
Okay, I'm back. Let me see the Twitch chat
Alright.
say any. Oh, hi, Nameless. Hi, Butte. Thanks for popping by.
Alright, ready?
Yes. Wait. Actually, before that, hold on.
If you have to build up, then
No. Just tell the guys in the chat if you want to see more of questions, work exclamation mark co-caster or bring him to his YouTube channel.
well, there's 0 StarCraft content.
Oh, it's still his work, so I find it a therapeutic to see it sometimes, but then it's too much for my eyes and then I leave. It's safe for work, don't worry. Is it? I don't know. Okay, but let's get into this. I'm ready.
Epilepsy warning, that's it, alright. Fair warning, my Terran really sucks, so...
That should be a bit more even game.
You just need to practice the build. That's the important part.
That's fine. It would be interesting if I had to practice against your macro Zerg.
My macros are... I don't even really have macro hockey set up for Zerg, so...
Oh, I still
I
haven't.
manually inject.
I actually don't fully know how to do that, and I will get to that eventually after I...
Start playing Zerg.
Yeah, once I reach Zerg, but first things first. Okay, this is...
Not enough minerals.
The 3 observers really does give you the flexibility, like the strength of a lot of map vision. The problem is that you need to make use of that map vision, so yeah, try to do that.
The one the one macro game I got the 3 observers, but I valued observer 2 and 3 to the same place and the medevac came in at spot. And
Ayo.
yeah, the one macro game I remember, and then the winner by drop happens.
That's really bad. Yeah,
That's
you need to be active on rallying the observers.
Hey, by the way, Beauty, if you're still in chat, what race do you play?
Well, that's annoying.
Well, you left. Yeah. If open, take advantage.
Not the probes. Minerals now. Get them. Not enough minerals. They're attacking our cute little probes. Hey, they're attacking our base.
Your wall isn't tight.
Yeah, the Sigma jig was a little bit further back than it should be.
I'm here in the shadows.
Alright, fine. I'm out.
Base is under attack. Hey, they're attacking our base. Gas, buddy. Come on, you need gas. Base is under attack.
I am the voice. We are one with the shadows. Forever asleep.
Research.
You're gonna lose a stalker.
I serve. I'm here. I'm here in the
Minerals now. Get 'em.
What's this?
in the shadows.
Gas, buddy. Come on, you need gas. Insufficient Vespine gas. They're attacking our cute little probes.
It shall be as you say. I serve. Now. Stable.
Not enough minerals. Minerals now! Get 'em. Not enough minerals. Minerals now! Get 'em. Finished learning. Not enough minerals.
Oh, that's what I forgot. Oh well.
It happens.
Minerals now! Get 'em. Upgrade complete. Mineral field depleted. You must construct additional islands. Research complete. Unacceptable warp location. The minerals have up and gone. We need more Artosis pilots. Mineral field depleted. Our pylon's under attack. Not the probes. Minerals have up and gone. They're attacking our cute little probes. Not the probes. Hey, they're attacking our base. Finished learning. Mineral field.
I'm here. For iron. State thy bidding.
The minerals have up and gone.
Embrace the glory of battle.
You must place that in a power field. Finished learning. They're attacking our cute little probes.
Go.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay. I'm going to rewind and have a look at what happened.
Oh, I already left. Okay.
Oh, okay. No. We won't be able to stay in the same session if we rewind anyway, so we have to watch the replay anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, I made a big mistake in that game where, well, not only was my Terra macro suck, I also forgot my upgrades. But okay. I got a very sloppy Widow Mine drop off. How many probes did I kill actually? Okay. In general, the first problem was just the tanks. When I just moved out across the map, you saw my army was coming because you had a pylon forward. But then, Colossi in general are very, very weak against tanks.
Yeah.
The moment I target fired the Colossi with the tanks, all of them melted. So it's hard, but you have to be patient against the tanks. What you should be doing is you should be sending a group of charge lots around the back to try to flank the tanks. That's much more effective than trying to take the whole army head on.
Because my traditional response to like a mass tank is I'll get immortals and brute force my way through.
But enough tanks also counter immortals, so that's also not the best counter.
Mechish build, but yeah, I guess.
Alright,
I think my pylon was too far back.
Yeah. Your wall was too far back. It needs to be right next to the wall. Otherwise, the Reaper just slips through. So here I just sloppily micro a little bit, kill one probe, and then the Stalker forces to me back. But yeah, the wall. If you don't have the wall in the right position, then this happens instead of going around the front, which is what you really wanted. The gas steal is nice. It did hamper me a little bit, but I mean my macro sucked too much for it to matter anyway. Okay, so the robo is on time, and out of the robo you want 3 observers. Yeah. So here you just chrono this. I don't know if you should be chronoing this, since you need the chrono observers. I guess it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of figured that if I have energy for chronos, then probes are never a bad choice, since more often than not I have full energy next I sitting around anyway.
Yeah, alright. So the sentry here, you want to just really use Guardian Shield with it. Force Shield is slightly less effective against Terran. You really just want Guardian Shield to significantly reduce the amount of damage that your units take. But observers, oh dear, observers are kind of late.
I don't think
because you're
I.
microing the stalker in front.
Yeah, I
Like
don't
you
think I
lose
hotkeyed the building.
my macro really slipped up, so I should probably have lost a lot more to just the stalker alone. But um, the kiting micro wasn't great, so you lost it instead. But you really need to make the observers out in time, otherwise you can get blindsided by a drop. But I don't think you even got blindsided by a pylon. Should have seen it coming, right?
Yeah, I mean, for all races, I try to have vision of my full base simply because it's a good thing, and I think the issue is I saw the drop on the minimap, I jumped back to look at it, and then I did respond correctly.
Okay, so here, the medevac's flying across the map, and
Can you actually catch the artifact flying across the map via the observer? Are they normally too slow? Even at the
no,
most.
no, not that, not that. You already have an observer in position, and you even sent out the probe to build a pylon there. So you saw the medevac coming in. You need to look on the minimap to see the red dot. Like that's the first thing about defending a drop, right?
I know I looked at it like once it went into the base, like, oh wait, there's a red thing here. Okay, it's a bit of my drop.
Yeah, but my middle mine micro is really bad, so it took me forever to actually borrow them. But in all this time, you should really have just pulled the probes away.
Well,
The moment you see a Widow Mine drop coming, you need to pull the probes away.
The big issue with my drops is that if you pull, I've pulled like them away once and
then you lose all of them, but that's
have-
because you pull too late. Having a fast response to the Widow Mine drop is like critical, and in order to have a fast response, you really just need to look on the minimap. You need to see, like around this time, like around 4:30 to 5 minutes, pay attention to the minimap, especially look for any incoming drops, and then pull the probes away from the base that's being dropped.
Okay.
I know it doesn't feel great to like have to pull, but right, the Liberator here just does some follow-up harass. This is just part of my build. It actually whiffs a couple of times, but yeah, just gets a couple more probes and then like 3 more probes and then it gets picked up by the stalkers. This is nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good for a turn.
Yeah. Alright, so because that Widow Mine drop killed 14 probes, you're now very far behind economically.
Yeah.
Which kind of costs you the game. Like, right there. That's why you really can't let Widow Mine drops happen. If they do happen, you need the chrono probes, which yeah, you're doing now. And then you need to try to cut some corners to come back into the game. You still need your Colossi, you still need your units, but I mean, just look at look at the bank difference here. I'm floating 2k already.
Yeah, the Rex explosion never happened, so lucky me.
Yeah, I kind of forgot to explode Raxus until like now-ish, where I just built like 3 more Raxus. Two more Raxus and then like back 3, I think.
Yeah, unfortunately I
And 3
don't
more
really have
Raxus
money for
eventually.
anything, so.
But yeah, at this point, because you lost the 14 pros, you're really broke, and this is just a very bad scenario for the Terran to be, for the Protoss to be in. If the Widow Mine drop didn't get off, you would have 58 probes now, which, granted, you should still probably be a bit better about making the probes. Like right now, there's still probe downtime. Yeah. Again, you need to get used to the Protoss macro cycle and just macro better from there. But you have an observer. Okay, so you have an observer here and you see the third base being taken, right?
Yeah.
But most of the time, you should at least try to fly the observer into the main base. I know it's very like probably gonna take your attention away from the macro as well, but if you can see what your opponent has, that's a good indicator. In case they transition into mech or something like that, it's nice to just be able to see that as well.
I think I did have one. I do have one observer in your.
Third.
No, I've also got one over the army that's. I think I saw your base up like this, looks like standard bio. He could either be going medevac or Viking.
Oh yeah, you have an observer there. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine then.
I remember I moved it a bit later in, but I like this position simply because, okay, I know your army's at home, I'm not gonna die just yet.
Alright, the Twilight Council here is really late, but I mean, that's kind of understandable.
I think I decided to go for +1 before I went for Twilight Council.
The Twilight Council upgrades are arguably more important, I would say. The Charge and Blink are just that important against the Terran army, and at this point, I'm still not quite ready. No, I don't actually move on until I'm maxed out, so...
Oh yeah, I've not been producing probes for the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, you really need to make probes constantly. 3 base saturation minimum. That's like 66 probes. Then you gateway explode a little bit more, and then you get right back to making probes until you have like 80.
Oh, okay. So the magic number, so the final number to hit is
80 minimum.
Okay.
Usually you will hit between 80 to 90.
kind of funny because that Zerg game the Zerg game right at the beginning, the local game I checked, I was on 76. So I was like, oh, that's good that I still died to lurkers.
Because your
That's a
tech
Stargate
just
problem.
wasn't there and you floated a ton of money to it. But you did see this whole army, so you saw that I was starting to produce Vikings, and more importantly, I had like a lot of tanks. But honestly, between the macro not quite being there and the Widow Mine drop going off in the early game, I don't think there's really too much that you can do here. You have a lot of gas, which maybe you could have tried to storm the army with, but
The Templar Archives is coming up, although it was only in
Very
response
late.
to the Vikings. I'm like, okay, I need an alternative. The Colossi are not gonna cut it. Is there too many Colossi?
4 Colossus is fine. 5 is too much. 4 is the absolute maximum. A lot of people would prefer 3.
I mean, I know some pros go 6, but I have absolutely no idea what they're doing. I'm not gonna
But
bother.
Colossi are really weak to Marauders, and because I knew that you were going to be making Colossi, I just made Marauders, like right from the get-go.
Oh, you were clearing
Yeah.
up the rocks. Nice.
Yeah, just in case I needed to retreat through there, even though... Alright, so I just sent the Widow Mine forward because... Oops, I wanted to like send it into the natural, but... and then I realized, oh, it passed here. Okay, let me just borrow it anyway. But you should have seen the army coming already, and oh, well. Yeah, at this point you're pretty dead.
Yeah, the tanks are already sieged.
You did, like, have the charge not connect onto the tanks, but because the bio was there, they evaporated immediately, and from there, the whole army just dies.
Yeah.
Honestly, the army difference there was just too big. But if you just waited a bit, you could try to just give up this base. Even though I know there's a Templar Archives tag there, which is very painful.
There's
It
not
really
much-
is just that if you let early game harassment happen, then you just die.
Yeah. And the Protoss I face is terror normally know how to defend it.
Yeah, like unless you find some way to like equalize the damage, which
That's not
the
possible
Colossus
without
build
AoE.
doesn't really do because it's a pure defensive build. But with some other builds, like I don't know, with Twilight Openers, sometimes you would like say fuck it DTs, and then sometimes they just equalize the damage anyway. Sometimes even more,
Ah, yes,
and then you can win the
DTs.
game from there. But not in this case. The Colossus build really requires a nice, solid, smooth early game. Otherwise, this just happens.
Given that there are Terrans who just go either mech or Marauders, is it really better to just go Colossi? Right off
Okay.
the bat? Because
Colossus are good in a lot of situations. They absolutely melt Marines, right?
yes.
And even if someone goes Mass Marauder, they're probably still going to produce a lot of Marines up to go with it. Like in my case. It's just that normally in a smooth macro game, you would probably have way more charge lots. Like way more charge lots. Which would have been able to help with the Marauders by a ton.
Okay, so
Once the
it's
charge loss evaporated, though, everything you had was vulnerable to the Marauders, and you don't really have that many options. Going Storm is like a nice way of dealing with Marauders as well, but Storm makes you Storm comes out really late, so you will be cutting it very
yeah,
close in any form of defense.
because Somalas plus all the rest.
Yeah, the Colossi count just grows much faster than the Storm count. You
By the way-
barely get 1 or 2 Storms with a normal 2-base push.
Yeah, especially with the delay. By the way, Bill was asking in chat whether it was better to
Go for High Templar and stuff.
No,
Okay,
no.
it is
No.
easier-
He was asking whether I should have done Warp
Wasn't
Prism.
harassed. Yeah, probably. that was pretty much the only way you could come back into the game. Just try to harass like, you didn't have
Huh.
a Twilight Council tech, but you can like drop a few slow zealots, or if you're really risky, you could try to do a Colossus drop. But that really is like you need to find some way to equalize the worker damage, or because if your macro just isn't immaculate to make up for the early game,
You
you're just gonna die like that. Yeah. So Prism Harass is one way to try to get back into it. And yeah, if you go the Colossus build, it's just that it's just way better to not let it happen. I know everyone also always dies at like Widowmine drops every now and then, even I do. But just try not to let it happen, and it should go better.
I'm just thinking, because the one build I was most afraid of as Terran when playing against Protoss was the Blink Stalker shenanigans, which is so common on the ladder and up into GSL.
Yeah, because Blink Stalkers have the potential to do a lot of damage, but they're also hard to control, and with your macro being kind of weak already, I really would not have recommended it.
Yeah, that's fair.
This is a build that really forces you to macro well, so yeah, try to do that.
Okay. By the way, while looking at the records, I saw this one more weird game called Bio, and I played Protoss. I don't know if that's worth seeing.
We can try it. We can check it out anyway.
The other. Okay. Oh wait. Okay, so wait. What I do want to see is this very interesting Widowmine build that somebody used against me as Protoss. And you need to pass me back control, then I'll load it.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. Okay, so this is not so much coaching, because I had never seen this before, ever, and I kind of just fell apart.
Oh, this guy.
This is more of, have you seen this bullshittery before, and what are your thoughts on it as Protoss and as like using it as a Terran option? I assume you already know what happened.
I don't exactly remember, but I distinctly remember this guy being very annoying.
Because this really seems like, again, I'll be playing Terran in tournaments and every so often until I can get to like Protoss Diamond. This seems to be a very good potential pocket build against Protoss.
Let me guess, he just masses Marines.
No.
Oh, okay, not that.
He...
Hellion drop? Oh, we'll have a look.
Yeah, nothing happens in the first couple of minutes. He basically went mass tank Widowmine.
Ah, okay.
And
Okay.
and it is also the fact that this is submarine with the shortest rush distance in existence.
You did cast a game that I submitted before where there was a Terran that kind of turtled on Widowmine bio.
The one game I casted from you was
On
you got
this map?
Hellion dropped,
I got Hellion dropped, yes. I lost
you
a lot of
lost-
probes early.
and somehow you won because he didn't macro correctly.
Yeah. Okay, if they're going into like this kind of army, it's just really fucking annoying to deal with. Against Mass Widowmine, you really don't have that many options. Disruptors is honestly the way to go. You can try to storm the mine space of the spots on the ground as well, but that's a bit
That
risky.
takes so long to get to.
Yeah, so you would much rather just use disruptors to clean out the mines. It's way easier to, honestly, since the mines will be static targets that you don't have to micro the disruptor too much for. And against the tanks, if they're massing tanks, you just send waves after waves of charge lots at them. And Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, the issue with the charge lot is that mines.
They will run into the Widow Mines and die, I know. But if the Widow Mines are going to splash onto the tanks, that's
That might
in
be
your
more
favor.
worthwhile.
But yeah, this is just really fucking annoying to play against.
Yeah, and I see this moving out, and then I'm like, what the F? Like, what do I do now?
Against this? Okay, so you're doing the Colossus opening.
Yeah, and now I'm attacking it. And now I'm getting immortals because I see armored units. I'm like, okay.
Did you not see the Widow Mines? Oh dear. Well, this could be bad. Okay, okay. The Widow Mines... You can target down one Widow Mine at a time. Not quite how you want to play against this.
Yeah, it then occurs to me that, oh yeah, you need detection for this.
I think this was just I mean, he's on one base. You should have probably seen that coming and then prepared accordingly.
So get disruptors.
No, well, there's no way that you would have known that this was exactly what he was going for. Actually, no, your build opens with a sentry. I don't know if you can sentry scout in time. Alright. I mean, battery overcharge doesn't save you from the units dying instantly, but... Okay, okay, you clean up all the tanks, but then now you need to clean up the mines, and... Where's your observer? You're not making any.
There's one.
That's really late. That's way too late.
Yeah, and I've got all these builds, I don't even know how to spend them.
More gateways, just more gateways and just spam units really, ideally. You can't walk them that far forward, you know there's tanks there, you know there's Widow Mines there.
I think
If you wanted them to absorb the Widow Mine shots, then you probably would have preferred... yeah, right, you can do that. You need to put the observer far back and then use surveillance mode.
Yeah, so there goes the single...
I mean, there goes your whole game, that's it. You're on 2 base, but he's got enough units to push through you, like by a long shot, so... This is just a very annoying thing to deal with, this fast.
Yeah.
You definitely can't react with disruptors, but... Okay, the very beginning, you can pick off one Widow Mine at a time while he's borrowing. Just try to do that, back off, force him to reposition.
These are Drilling Claws Widow Mines too, though.
Yeah, but you already one-shot one of them earlier. Just try to take them down one at a time, so that the count doesn't grow too much. Your immortal production is correct against the tanks, but you need stalkers, not charge. You're not zealots, absolutely not zealots. I know stalkers get blown up by the tanks, but the Widow Mine was very far forward, so you need the stalkers to use their range shots to actually kill the Widow Mine.
Yeah. Then he's scared to get rid of every single observer.
Again, your observer has to be much further back than that. You have to clear it out very slowly. This is a siege. This is a very slow moving siege, so just take your time.
I should try this and see Duckling open.
You will probably win against people who don't know how to react against this, so...
Yeah, okay, yeah, so that is more of like a new bullshittery that I never seen, and I don't think it will work
it's
on.
a one-base build though, so...
He actually had an expansion, but he never floated it and
He
lifted
never
it.
floated it over, so it's mostly still a one-base build. Like, if he's not expanding on the low ground, you suspect something's up.
Yeah, like the Stalker went there and saw, that's why there were even shield batteries up front.
Yeah, you typically expect some sort of push, but getting to scout inside the Terran main is pretty important, which is why your build gets a sentry. If you can hallucinate scout in there and you see the weird stuff that he's making,
Yeah, in that
then
particular...
you need to come out on the fly a way to react to it. And usually, slow zealots have no place in PvT. You would much rather just use stalkers in the early game.
see. I know in that game, no matter, even if I had like full vision, I would not know how to react because like I have never seen this. This is new. Like this.
I know.
This
you
would
you
not
would have no way of reacting to it in time. So, oh well.
Okay.
Yeah, this happens. But you can also do the same to them with a Tempest Rush, which I can show you how you do that. I can actually show you how to do that. I have a replay for it, I think.
Okay, well we'll look at that after this.
Yeah, it's not a competitive build. Just do it when you're like frustrated or something and you don't want to play PvT.
The other thing I would need to do is honestly have like pocket builds because as I start playing a little bit more in tournaments, I realize that okay, I can play perfect standard macro one game and then game 2 and 3.
Build says that he will use a warp prism, go across the map, and force them to move back.
That's assuming the warp prism.
You can warp in slow zealots across the map and force them to like react to it, but The problem is that you still have to solve the army in front of your base. And considering that you're already on 2 base and they're still mining off of 1 base, which, I mean, they should be mining off 2 base or whatever, you have the economic advantage. You should be focusing on the defense mostly. You won't really force them to move back that much. They're already producing cloaked widow mines. They just have to wait for them to come out of the factory and then they just blow up all of your attacking units.
I'm also thinking that if I had abandoned the front, the widow might just walk into the natural middle line and I'm back on 1 base.
Yeah, pretty much.
And furthermore, I only have 1 robo, so
You would rather use a robot to
yeah,
produce immortals
production.
for the anti-tank, yeah.
you can try and let me know and see if that works, Butte. Generally do not remember what happened in this game.
Are you rolling this off correctly? I think you are, at least,
I
yeah.
think so.
But again, the cyber is late. Like, you need to make the cyber pretty fast.
Or get the Nexus faster.
Yeah. If you're gonna go call first, send out the probe like as you're about to hit 150 minerals, not after you hit it.
I see.
Or not after you hit 550 minerals, really.
Did the probe die? Yeah, it died. Reaper.
Oh well.
Actually, what do I do with the scouting probe again? Do I just put it in a corner and rescout? Or...
Hide it somewhere. I would usually hide it around like the edge of like a third base. And then at around 2:45, send it back into the natural up the ramp. Check if they're expanding and check what add-on they're making on their barracks and what buildings they're making. Sometimes you get to see if they're making additional barracks and you know it's like a 2-on-1 or 3 ranks. Sometimes you get to see some weird stuff like a tech lab on the barracks, which you would probably think is some sort of neurologies.
Okay, so that one means that I'm willing to lose the probe because there's no way.
You always lose the scouting probe for more information. Like that's just you need the probe to confirm stuff. The call first does grant you a way of not losing the probe, but if you send an adapter across the map to scout instead, but the probe is just you'd rather just do that. The probe's already across the map. Why not?
I see.
And it really applies more so to the Nexus first openings, fast expand openings that you would have to use the. Oh well, you can't do this.
That was bad.
That was really bad. You need to be a lot more conservative with your early game units since you don't have that many.
Protoss.
Don't lose them. It's the crux of it. I know you like to dive in and get damage with units, but Protoss needs the early units to defend stuff. So if you lose them, that's really bad for you.
Yeah, the weird irony of Protoss for me, because like Terran units are so fragile, I'm like, one Marine ain't gonna do jack squad, it's just gonna stand there. But like the Stalker's like, maybe I could, and then you get shot in the face.
I mean, the moment you got tank blah. No, 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 no. Why not pull it back?
The general idea is always to have something at least sitting outside their base, because too many games I've died to, they just leave and then I have no idea that I'm not prepared.
That's what your observers are for.
Now the observer's leaving.
They can't move out this fast, is the thing. They have nothing. You will defend with a shield battery. You will defend with a basic wall pin. But the observer, like the first observer, you rally across the map, yes?
Yep.
And then you get to sit at your natural and see what's happening. You don't get the luxury with this, with the Twilight Opener, because you don't have a robo. So that's when you have to sit units in front of their base. And then you use Blink Micro to slowly pick them up pick their stuff off if they try to move across the map. Like that's the case where you have to sit units outside their base. Otherwise, you not only have the hallucination scout, you have observers. You also, oh no, well, second observers also rally along with the first one. You need to.
Yeah, I don't know
You
why.
need to be a lot better with that.
I don't know why I made it immortal.
I mean, you're seeing a standard macro, so I don't know why you made it. Yeah.
Let's see, what's my...
But your map vision here is really lacking because the observer wasn't rallied properly. So that sucks.
See, what else was I doing?
Also, you're not really macroing well. You have 10 out of 16 in your main base. You're oversaturated on the gas. You have 1 out of 3 in the natural on the gas. So your macro is just really not quite there. Always just queue 2 probes whenever you have the chance. Don't just queue 1 probe at a time.
Okay.
And there we go, no probe production again. Well, there we go, it picks up. But you also want to, if you're looking at your bases anyway, just look for the red numbers and fix it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because of this, your gas mining is really disjointed, your mineral mining is gimped. So even if you have more workers than your opponent, your opponent also has mules, and they're mining correctly off of their gases, so they have just way more mining than you have, in general.
Yeah, so sending a fourth probe into gas is effectively wasting it, right? If I understood
Absolutely, it's just gonna sit there not doing anything. Okay, he's gonna push across the map now. You have a shield battery, a battery overcharge to defend, and your first Colossus should be coming out soon.
It's
Yeah, it's there already actually. So you shouldn't have any problems defending this if you're just patient, or battery overcharge it. But you spend so much energy on Chrono that you can't really take this fight yet. So just wait. Use like a force field. You should use a force field here to try to block off the bio army a little bit, and then wait for your energy to reach battery overcharge level. So that's in like just now. Now you can use battery overcharge, but you already lost all your units. So. And I don't know why you're not fighting with battery overcharge. Oh dear.
do I have it in range of that one? No,
What do you
well,
mean in range?
so what? The battery high charge or the high ground one?
No. Absolutely not. I meant you have to stand your ground on the low ground.
Oh, so stay on the
then
low ground.
I mean, yeah, you lost the game off of your macro.
Yeah, I just died to this like tank push.
Yeah, that's just bad macro.
Okay, tell you what, let's take a look at the do you have any game to show? If not, there's actually one more I remembered, which is the other side of PvZ, which is dealing with early Zerg rushes.
Oh, go ahead, show me that first. I think that's more important.
Yeah, there's one I held off and then one I died to. Which one do you think is more important? The caveat is the one I died to is a freaking golden wall.
I guess the one that you held off because I need to see your response.
Oh, okay, the one that actually worked. Okay.
Yeah. Because more often than not is that the response isn't quite there, but the opponent just sucks.
Okay, need to find.
Zerg rushing options are plentiful in the early game, so you have to find the way to defend like a lot of them. But a lot of it also does come down to scouting it in the first place.
Okay, so this is the one that actually worked.
So you do a gateway scout with this build, and if the gateway scout sees a completed pool, it's a tells pool, then you need to check gases.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's also another build where it looks perfectly normal. It's hatch, gas, pool for that matter. Hatch, pool, gas, whatever.
And then they flood links.
And then they turn on the link printer.
Yeah, that one is pretty hard to scout.
But it hits later, of course.
It hits later, so by then you have tech units out and you should be able to just defend it reactively, honestly. I say that, but it's also not easy to defend at the same time.
Yeah, you've told me that you're quite good at that.
Alright, we can fast forward through the game actually.
Yep.
I mean like increase the speed, not seek through it.
Okay. Let's increase the speed.
Okay, so you scout like normal. Ish, actually no, it's like a 16 pool. Okay, so what's your response? You make the depth, and then you rally it into your...
Actually, I had absolutely no idea this was, like, a link flood was coming. Until...
I mean, okay.
Cause I scouted, I saw like, okay, the hatch is up, the hatch is up.
So what health was the hatch at?
I don't remember.
The hatch should be at yellow health. That's the key point. Around yellow, orange to yellow health. If it's not there, that means it's a late hatch. Some builds will have much later hatches than others. In this case, it would probably be well, What unfortunate timing.
Yeah, so
I don't know why he's not just going into your base though. What?
Yeah, so my adept catches all these things, and
There
then
we
I
go.
know. Okay,
Yeah, okay, so here you pull pros, you block off. That's a good idea. Rally the adept back in. There we go. Good, good. It's still fine. It's still fine for you. Oh, why did you make a stalker?
don't. I think more HP, but I don't remember, to be honest.
No, no, always adepts. Always adepts. Okay, good. You're rewalling at least. I mean, you're trying to rewall, but the links are really
Yeah,
messing
it's
everything
pretty
up. You're
irritating.
attacking your own gateway with the stalk. Ugh.
Did that happen?
Yes. No, never make a stalker unless you're blocking the wall with it. I mean, the links are already here, so just adapt. Okay, good shoot battery. You need to manually target the pylons to shoot bat. You didn't have to overcharge it. You didn't have to spend this overcharge energy, but whatever.
Deterrence
Alright.
factor.
Alright, not bad. You fully walled yourself in, you can continue with the build. And the Zerg, but the Zerg's actually gone into a Bane bust with roaches or something.
Yeah, which would have.
No, the Zerg just sucks, but
Out of curiosity, what would be the actual Zerg danger behind this? Take a third base and just macro happily.
probably. I mean, equal drone count, they should have taken a third a long time ago because they're floating this much money anyway. Yeah, the Zerg just sucks. Okay. There's a lot of different pull timings available, but the crux is to just look at the pull, look at the hatch. If the hatch is below orange to yellow health, like in the red, that means that it's taken late, and that means that they're probably going to 16 pull. Against a 16 pull, all you really have to do is to just finish the wall faster, like slightly faster, with your tech building of choice. And then keep the adept in the wall.
Okay, that means it's adepts all the way. We don't bother with. What about sentries then?
Sentries are fine. Against Link Floods, they're more than fine. You want them to force you to buy more time, but the adepts are the things that actually kill links, not stalkers, not sentries, so you still need them. And like stuff like this is why I vastly prefer a Stargate opener, just because the oracles themselves can clean up defense. Not as easily as it used to, but definitely still very good at it. But in this case, he's just gonna try to Bane bust you then Link Flood. And the Sentry here is actually very good, but the Oracle probably would have been able to see it by now. Well, this Zerg really doesn't know what he's doing. Why did you warp in Adepts across them? Oh, you want to do the build, but you're being Bane busted at home.
Yeah, then the blink in case of the what?
Okay, well, your wall just busted right open. So you're dead.
Yeah, kinda.
But you just took a proxy expand instead, but... No! Well, no. This wasn't gonna work anyway, but...
Supposed to like force field the ramp or something, right?
Yeah, I just force you the ramp. You have a sentry, use it. I mean, this is just a disastrous defense for you, really.
Yeah, that happened.
Again, this is really one of the weaknesses of the Twilight build. While it has the very good potential for harass, it is the least defensive possible. Offers the least defensive potential. So I would very much prefer a Stargate opener. If you really want to do the Twilight build, you need to be a lot more pinpoint precise on scouting this happening. For which you will need to send an adept across the map to actually scout with. At this point, you're pretty dead unless the Zerg really majorly fucks up. But, I mean, it doesn't seem like they know what they're doing, so there's a very good chance of that happening. What are you doing?
Preparing to do harass.
Yeah, but why do you drop the adepts?
I think I wanted to warp in again or something, and then I didn't have the money.
I mean, this is nice.
Yeah, I'm looking at this like, wait.
Adepts are actually very good against Hydra, so this is a nice blind counter.
Yeah, it's kind of.
But he's just gonna try to attack you instead.
Yeah, and I successfully like sacked the main, kind of.
Uh,
This is a gold league player according to the portrait.
I mean, yeah, but this is just not how the right defense looks. I have a replay of myself defending a Bane Blast actually, so if you want to look at that,
That
but
could be
that's at the
useful.
start. But that's at the Stargate opener, so it's a lot less applicable to what your build is. Like the Stargate opener just lets you not really worry too much about the fine details of defending these stuff. But at the end of the day, you can still defend with the normal, with every other build as long as you scout it incoming and not noticing the faster pool is a big mistake.
Okay. Do you feel there's any point continuing this replay?
Probably not.
Okay. Alright, let's take a look. Okay, let's look at the Stargate one, since I'm also curious what Stargate build you do.
Alright, let me try to find it first.
You are leader.
Oh well, it's an old replay. Oh well, too bad.
Yes, Butte, I'm very aware of who True Dragon is. He's got a very particular play style. A very particular play style that no one else here really understands.
Let me see. I think this was the person who I.
Go.
Oh wait, no, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Sorry, wrong replay. Wrong replay.
Yeah, thanks for dropping by, Butte, if you're still here.
Oh no, no, not this.
Okay, I think one more, then we'll call it quits.
Did I not? I don't appear to have replay.
If not, then we'll just look at any replays that's good. PvP, PvT, PvZ, it's all good.
Yeah. Alright. Hold on. I'll try to find one.
Let me go toilet real quick then.
Actually, I can't find the Tempest Rush replay, so instead I'm gonna port over a replay that. Let me see.
Have you found it?
Nope, but I have a replay on my Europe account, which I can show you instead.
So we go to EU.
No, I'll just transfer the replay over
Okay.
from my EU account. Hang on, was it on here? It might have been on here. Oh well, whatever.
So what exactly are we seeing?
Hold on, I have to find the time. This was early in the morning. Yeah, alright. We're gonna look at a PVZ where I actually played the macro game.
Okay.
This should be I'm going. Oh, what happened?
I clicked accept.
You left the lobby.
Can I just join game? Is it?
I left the lobby. Hold on. Okay. I think we're good. Maybe.
You against something called Grey.
But this is I felt like I played this late game fairly well. So we can have a look at this.
Sure.
Because this is my EU account, so Plat Protoss.
I heard EU is
Honestly,
what?
kind of just a Smurf, but
I heard that the diamond in EU is what 3.6.
yeah, roughly there. NA is quite lenient now.
For some reason it's 3.2. Yeah. How is NA so much easier than EU and Korea?
Because there's a greater percentage of players who are low league in NA. In order to maintain the same percentage of players in each league, they have to lower the MMR brackets.
So Korea
has the most high level players, yeah.
And followed by the EU and then the
NA.
Any idea why EU has so many better players than NA?
I mean, it's NA, what do you expect? Alright, so in this game they do a very standard opener, right? It's just a X-Gas pool. So they're gonna send a few links across the map and
okay,
right,
Stargate.
So now I have links pressuring my adept and let me see. Just in time.
Yeah, 1
a
second.
little late to that, but now I'm just gonna chrono another adept and that will hold off the 3 links.
I mean, 1 second later, and they would have blocked the pylon.
Yeah, so I should have definitely reacted faster and just made the pylon or shield battery
then the
there.
link flood just kills you.
Yep. Well, they're not link flooding, they just send a few random links across the map, so it's not much to it here, but if it was a link flood, I have the oracles pumping up behind this and at this point you would need to have workers ready to just do a rewall if necessary. Alright, so Stargate opener here. So I'm gonna just use the Phoenix to shoo away that Overlord. And then in a while... Okay, no, first I just fly around a little bit, use the Oracle to just get a couple
You get
tags.
2 obos?
Okay, this build is supposed to be the 4 Oracle build, but I was like, 4 is a bit much, maybe just 3 or 2 or 3. So I lose 1 Oracle there. But yeah, I just made 2 Oracles and I just moved into macro instead. It's just faster tech instead of investing more into the defense. But look at the gateway and pylon positioning on the 3rd base. When I first made the 3rd base, I had to put those 2 pylons in front of it, directly in front of it, to the bottom of the nexus. These 2 pylons allow you to put 2 adepts in them, and that lets you safely hold off link spam against the nexus, against the adepts. And then when I had the money, I'm just going to make 3 gateways to wall off everywhere but the left side of this base. This is actually a pretty bad wall. Honestly, the gateway should have been further back, but I had a pylon blocking it because the pylon positioning was really bad. So this wall actually kind of screws me a little bit because look at how far the pros have to go to mine. Yeah. Okay, at this point he's attacking me with Roach. Just a Roach printer. I should not have defended this. He's up an upgrade. He's up 2 upgrades. I have a smaller army supply and I'm only starting to shoot batteries now. But he takes so long to actually attack that the batteries barely come up in time. And well, you'll see what happens. But because this build has double robo, I'm barely able to crank out enough immortals. Okay, so we begin. So some bows forced me away from the batteries about to finish. I turn on the Oracle here, and okay, this is a big mistake that Zerx too is that when they bile, they're not biling down the batteries.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
bile the
understand
army.
why not. I don't understand this, honestly. This just seems like a no-brainer thing to do, but that allows the battery overcharge to just... That was pretty bad.
Yeah, you lost 2 immortals.
Yep, but
But I
at
think
this
you have the
point-
critical mass plus defender's advantage to hold this off.
Yep. And by this point, the Oracle has 13 kills. So the Oracle alone helped kill off a lot of the Lings, a lot of the Ravagers, and some of the Roaches too.
How does the Oracle prioritize targets?
I'm not sure actually.
Okay,
I think maybe
Mysteries
like a
of
bit
Star-
random or something, but
Mysteries of StarCraft.
it did enough, and he never bothered to boil it down, or the batteries. So that's a big mistake. But I should probably have lost this. What I would have needed to do, I would have to use sentries to just buy more time, and then hold my position next to the batteries and make sure that he isn't able to just boil it down immediately. But behind that, I'm just gonna scout around a bit more. I see that he's remaking a Roach army, and at this point, I see, okay, I'm gonna take a 4th base. I have so much money anyway, so I'm gonna take the 4th. And along with this, I should be going into Stargate Tech pretty soon. Home is finishing up, so that will let me really deal with the Zerg army efficiently. And look at how much static defense I'm making now. At the 3rd base, I have 2 cannons, actually 3 cannons, and I'm going to make batteries there.
Yeah.
Actually, no, the batteries are already there, so I don't have to make them. Yeah. 3 cannons really let you defend just random link spam there. Also buys time against, in case they just attack there randomly and you didn't see it coming. It also helps a bit against Baneling run-bys, but for that, you would still need to react in time. Alright, the Oracle is just going to see that where the army is again.
So you got Storm, but did you scout Hydra or Ling, or do you always just get Storm?
I always just get Storm. It's just good. Even against Roaches, it doesn't seem like it does that much, but
It's not too bad.
Having that much AoE is just very good against Zerg in general. Protoss really needs the AoE. They'll get outnumbered by the Zerg otherwise. Okay, so I'm starting to move some Archons here, and I have a pretty big army. But now I've got 4 bases up safely, and I'm still continuing to make probes because I'm still not quite at 80 probes yet.
Yeah.
I think I try to do a bit of an attack here, but then I just back off after a bit. And meanwhile, he's making 3 Spires.
Huh.
Yeah,
That's-
don't question that too much. Okay, so this Storm kind of whiffed and actually landed on more the Zealots than anything else, but I just rotate down here.
So, Protoss army clearing creep.
The whole Protoss army is here clearing creep, who would have fancied that? But this is a nice position where I just get to kill this base for free.
Yes, army was kind of out of position, right? If he had sandwiched himself between, I mean, it's a risky fight, but there goes the
Yeah.
base and the drone line.
Yep, he's up and he's up to like 3 upgrades anyway, so probably should have at least tried to take the fight a little bit. But this is just a nice pick off. And the Spire... Okay, now I begin the Stargate transition. So because I opened up with a Stargate already, I just need to make 2 more Stargates and then I make the Fleet Beacon straight away.
Yeah,
This lets me jump into carrier production very quickly. But I have to hotkey... Obviously you have to hotkey the Stargates as well. For constant carrier production. Alright, so I try to jump in here to snipe up the...
you can stop the red,
hive.
right? Yeah,
But
these are good storms.
Yep. But
Boss.
I don't really want to fight the army really. I just want to... Okay, the ball's pretty bad here. I just want to pick off the hive. And then I back off. If I commit too hard to the fight, I have a chance of just losing everything, so...
Yeah,
Just back off.
then the
Just-
counter attack kills
I
you.
think I actually... No, I just back off. Right. We can't chase off a creep. Yeah, he's not chasing off a creep, and then... I had the Prism warped here for reinforcements, but then I just unwarp it anyway. Alright, I should be making static defense at the 4th pretty soon now. Along with +3 attack, and I should start carrier production soon. Not sure what I'm looking at here.
What is the Zerg response to this, by the way? Lurkers?
Which one?
So like dealing with yours.
Against Castle and Model Archon, you have Lurkers. You used to have Broodlords as well, and actually I think you still have Broodlords, but I mean he went triple Spire, so he should be trying to take advantage of that at least a little bit.
Yeah, but needs to remake the.
Everything.
Yeah, since you managed to snipe like the.
A hive. Yeah.
Yeah, this puts you pretty darn far ahead, and. Where are said carriers?
They'll be here in a bit. I think I'm going to set up the 5th base and I realize, wait, I have this tech, I should be making carriers. What am I doing? There we go, carriers begin production. Yeah.
Let's see, did you chrono them? Yes.
Yep. And then at this point, I also get +1 air attack and I should be making a 2nd cyber core to get the 2 air upgrades as well.
When you transition to mass air, do you get all Z upgrades?
You will want to get the air upgrades and you want to get shield upgrades on the forge. Armor upgrades are like the least priority in PvZ, so you don't really get them. Until like the late game where then 333 charge loss can really do a lot of damage.
I don't see the Zerg teching any further.
No, I don't know what the Zerg is doing, they're just kind of staying on Roach Hydra, which is
to be fair, is attempting to rebuild his
eco, but
also no counterattacks from Zerg.
yeah, the Zerg just staying really passive here. Granted, this is like a lower level game, so that's to be expected. But
yeah, like I mean, I was watching Raider play yesterday, and
that's a big difference in the level of play.
yeah,
I think I actually take a pretty bad fight here. I take the base and I have to back off.
but you don't have any storm, right? You did make no Templar.
No, I have Storm, but I'm not using it. There we go. But yeah, just sniping bases, denying bases is nice for me. I'm just really suppressing his economy.
Yeah, you already have the 5th base. He's not actually attempted to siege you at all, and he's not gotten Lurker tech.
No, he has triple Spire and he should really be trying to take advantage of that. Mutalisk would probably have been a nice transition earlier, but now he's gonna make the Greater Spire and gonna try to go into Broodlord.
Yeah, but once you
Corruptor.
commit to this level of Roach Hydra, you don't really have resources for Spire.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at this army and like, this army is like tier 2, it's not even tier 2.5, it's just tier 2. And
It's still a pretty high DPS army, so if I get called out of position I can lose a lot of units very quickly. Especially considering that my ground army now is actually quite small. I remember that I'm doing a Skytoss transition and carriers cost 6 supply each.
yeah, so I'm like, your guard army looks kind of, it's kind of expendable, isn't it? But you just don't want him to F2A move.
I don't want to just throw it all away, obviously, because the carriers by themselves will not really stand up. I still need the Storm, I still need the Charge Lords, I still need the Archons. The Immortals are the only part I can really throw away. But at this point, I'm supply block. I'm maxed out on supply, so I can't really do too much. So I try to take a fight with this army, and doesn't go too well. And then you just Storm, try to run away.
Well, the point is you just wanted to like trade, right?
Yeah. Okay, actually that was a very terrible recall. But even though he sent a Ling run by to my 5th base, the cannon battery alone was able to hold it off.
Yeah, now he comes in.
He's gonna attack up into the 3rd base here, but 4th base here, but the cannon battery again is buying a lot of time, and look, a Zerg that actually knows how to use yoinking, but unfortunately his army is just not big enough.
Like, suppose you would have needed what, a parasitic bomb and or neo parasite.
He would probably have just needed more Hydras. The roaches don't really do too much at this point, so he probably should have tackled the more Hydras, but I mean he's very broke, so he can't really do that either.
Nice.
Lings slip into the main base. This tends to happen because once I need to start getting robo units out of the main base, I don't leave a unit in the gap. Really should.
Maybe just
but
cannons
at
because
this
you've
point-
got money.
You could as well. But at this point, what you can do, since you won't be really making any more models, you pretty much just be making observers and war preserves out of the robo.
Yeah.
So you can just wall it off now, if you want.
Hmm.
But at this point, I just have a giant Skytoss army that he can't really deal with. So we're just gonna skip forward a bit.
Do you bother with Mothership? Yeah.
No. Well, okay. Mothership can be very good at lower level because they might not react to it properly, but it's really expensive and it takes a long time to come out. So I would much rather just have more army.
Okay. It's not worth the supply, I suppose. Isn't it 6 supply as well?
Something like that, but it costs 400.
I mean, you've got 5,000 to 2,000.
I mean, yeah, I have a gigantic bank. But if this game was any closer, like if he, for instance, if he found some damage with that Roche push very early into the game, and equalized the damage to his own economy, then yeah, I probably wouldn't have been able to afford as much. And yeah, look, the Yoinks actually do some stuff here. He snipes off like 1 carrier, there goes 2.
But you've got like so many, so.
But I've got a gigantic bank and I'm going to expand in front of his face as well, so.
Yeah, this is.
The crux of playing late game PvZ at our level is to just make sure you have a healthy economy, so that you have a giant bank that you can just easily spend.
I see.
I accidentally sacrificed an Archon, oops.
I mean,
But-
so far ahead doesn't matter at all.
It doesn't matter. I just sniped that base again and then now he has no bases. Really. A charge lot run by at the 5th as well. This is actually a very nice thing to do. Not just now is like this is just a side the game, but earlier on when I was just pushing with the Immortal Archon charge lot army, I could have just split off a group of charge lots and attacked another base. Multi-prong is something that a lot of Zergs are not very good at dealing with.
Yeah.
They may have practiced against the Gladept, but against a charge lot run by, well, they're dealing with a big Protoss army that...
It does take quite a bit to deal with.
Yeah. In fact, one of the things that ATP, holding Protoss members like to say is like, you don't really even need that many charge lots of your main army. If you have Immortal Archon Storm in your main army, that alone is able to... That itself packs a punch. It's obviously very fragile, it doesn't have a front line, so you need to make sure you're very careful with it, but it buys a lot of attention from the Zerg, and the charge lot run bys can actually do a lot of damage.
Okay.
Of course, you can pair this up with like a prism flying to the main base as well, so... Yeah. Multi-prong aggression is one way to play PvZ. But
That's
first priority is just macro. Make sure you're expanding whenever you need to. Making sure you defend those expansions with static defense, and then teching into the right army.
Okay, I'll consider whether I want to swap to like the Stargate opening because it's a lot more flexible than our die build, which is
I
good.
mean, if you look at that game, I didn't really kill like any drones with the oracles. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Just the fact that the oracles exist alone is enough.
There's a guy called Mason Craft saying the oracles prioritize units.
Prioritize units that can attack it, yeah. They will prioritize like anti-air units first.
Well, yeah, but then between like a Ravager and a Roach.
I think it's pretty much random.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, like I've always heard they'll prioritize units that can hurt it and then switch, which is why you sometimes need to target fire things.
Yep.
But my question is more because theoretically the Ravager can hit an Oracle.
I don't think the abilities
It doesn't count, right?
count. No.
None of the abilities count towards upgrades as well, right?
No, okay. Spell damage. There are 2 types of damage in StarCraft 2. Normal damage, which is affected by upgrades and armor. And the other is spell damage. Spell damage is often completely preset. You can't change it whatever you do. Storm is preset damage.
Ignores armor, so it's.
Yeah. But
What about the Oracle's Pulsar Beam?
it's also spell damage.
So getting +1 air does not help at all.
Does not improve the oracle's damage, yes.
I see.
But the only spell in the game that if I'm not wrong, the only spell in the game that actually gains damage would be would be Mag Field Accelerator with Cyclone Lock-ons. Then it gains bonus damage against armor. But other than that, spells are very standard. Even then, spells are like preset damage, and units will always take that damage since it ignores armor.
Oh yeah, the Cyclone uses a lock-on bonus damage weird thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Whew. Well, I think we're about done for this week. That's a lot of information. I probably need to find time to play over the next week.
Yeah, just try to focus on making more probes, making units as the basis, but then we went through a couple of teasers really, and how to scout them and try to defend them.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I realized like getting to diamond, more importantly staying there, is more of learning how to deal with the various cheeses that happen.
Indeed.
I think the next session will probably be 2 weeks from now, simply because I don't really have that much time,
That's fine. That's fine.
both to play and to have these sessions. But still, thanks. I guess I'll see you later for the
See you
usual.
later for I'll die.
Yep, for anyone else in the chat, we're about to go offline. If you want, !co-caster will bring you to Creston's YouTube channel where you can follow his productions.
And hang around for I'll die 42 later today at 10 p.m. AEST. That's not right.
9
8 p.m. Singapore time.
9 p.m. KST, which is what they put on the banner, but
Actually, there's only 7 sign-ups so far, but
it's not uncommon for people to like sign up at the last minute.
all right.
We'll just see what happens. Maybe people are busy. I don't know what's happening this weekend.
Now we have Nefarious Ranger, Leo, Just Assignment, and Nux, and Mata. Usual
Dark Imperial?
faces. No, not yet.
Hmm.
Neither is Dark Void there. I'm sure they'll sign up later.
It depends whether he's free here. Sometimes he has things on.
Yeah, sometimes you have stuff to do.
Okay, well I'm gonna do other stuff. Thanks for coming on. And I'll see you later.